Hey, hello everybody, and thanks for checking out this video. This is not a game pickup video, but I am gonna talk about 50 or so Xbox 360 titles that I've displayed on my shelf. And I do have more than 50 Xbox 360 titles, but my space is limited and I need to make choices. So the games that I do have on my shelf are games that I am super interested in, are worth displaying in my opinion, and are games that I'm just super happy about of having those in my collection. The thing is though, because the shelf space is limited, sometimes I get a new game and I have to remove one, and that's somewhat like a fun thing to do. Always it's like a sad thing to remove a game, but you know, I replace it with something else that I feel like a little bit better about. You know, it keeps you busy. But yeah, the games that I'm gonna show, there are probably not the games that I do think that most of the games that I'm going to talk about or show are also that a lot of people agree on, but I know for sure that there are also a couple games where people might think like, why are you displaying that one? I will try and do my best to actually talk a little bit about that. But yeah, again, there are 50 games. Some of them are actually part of the From Software sub-collection. I love the From Software games, and that is why they are mostly occupying that shelf space as well. And in the end, I'm gonna show a couple games that I feel like should actually be on the shelf, and that means that probably I will remove a couple games from the shelf as well. Maybe not in this video, but I will drop some hints on about a couple games that might might not end up on the shelf when I return these games. But yeah, again, 50 games, so let's just start. I'm starting them in a sort of specific order, from left to right from the shelf. And I do believe there is a structure in there in the sense that the games that are displayed on the left are probably not the most important ones for me, and the ones on the right are the absolute like the ones that I feel like, yes, I'm super happy that those are part of the collection. Again, that doesn't mean the ones that I will show in the beginning are like the worst games, but just, you know, the worst of the best. And yeah, let's just start with the first one, and that is Castlevania Lords of Shadow. I really like this game. I played it on the PlayStation 3, but I really wanted to get the Xbox 360 version. I do believe it plays a little bit better. You know, it's not a Symphony of the Night or like one of those GBA Castlevania games, but I love Castlevania, and I actually really enjoyed this one. Of course, it's a little bit more action heavy, and the story might not be the best one, but you know, it's still a very good game, and I do actually enjoy the action. Sometimes it can be simple and still be enjoyable, and I think with Castlevania, what I like is just the overall theme, and combined with kind of like the mindless action. And it's not even that mindless, but you know, it's a little bit more simplistic. But yeah, Castlevania Lords of the Shadow, I really enjoy it. It's a very cool game. Now, if you have the first one, of course, you also need to get the second one as well. That's Castlevania 2, Lords of Shadow. Now, to be honest, I haven't played much of this one. The beginning is rather bombastic, like there's just a ton going on, and I only played maybe the first hour and a half or so just to check it out, but I want to replay the first one again because it's been a while since I played that one before I actually start and playing the second one. But yeah, really happy that I have this one in the collection as well. And again, it's Castlevania, and I think that's the reason why it's definitely on the shelf, the second one as well. And hey, if you display the first one, you also have to display the second one, right? Now this game, here's an hint, it might not end up in the shelf soonish. It's definitely on the shelf, or it's on the shelf because it's rather like an oddity. I'm talking about Bullet Witch for the Xbox 360. Now, where to begin with this game? It's an odd one. I think the opinions are like, people enjoy it because it's not necessarily because it's bad and that makes it good, but more that there is something to this game. And you know, when I think about Xbox 360, definitely this game stands out to me because I remember seeing it when the 360 came out, and I always wanted to get it, but you know, there were just so many other good games out there that I never had the opportunity to actually check it out. But yeah, it's an odd one. I really want to play it a little bit more to actually have my own opinion about it. But yeah, they're just so mixed. And I think the odd thing with this one though is just, I have a feeling like why people like this one, because you can kind of see what they were trying to do, but they just weren't able to maybe pull it off. And yeah, it's something that I do want to experience. And again, like, I need to play it a little bit more, but I don't think it's gonna end up on the shelf, because there are some other games that are probably better and that I feel more confident about. Now the next one, ah man, I love this one. It's Fist of the North Star. Like, I don't want to say that I'm a huge fan, but I grew up watching that movie. Yes, I like that movie, and I just remember always being a young kid. I think I rented that VHS a couple of times to check that out, that movie, and I always really enjoyed it. Like Fist of the North Star. I tried watching the anime, but there are just so many episodes, and it's rather difficult to get into. Someday I will try it again, but yeah, always just like the theme, like the apocalyptic nature of it all, and just like how out there it is, and just the visuals, like the gore. It's very cool. And normally I'm not that big into these type of games, like the warrior games, or you know, with having all those enemies on the screen. But I think what pulls me in is actually because it's Fist of the North Star. I had a similar experience with Berserk for the PlayStation 4. And by playing these games, I'm sort of more interested in actually checking out those games, like the Warriors, Orochi, and what are the other ones called again? I don't know. But yeah, it's Fist of the North Star, Ken's Rage. And then we do have, of course, Fist of the North Star, Ken's Rage number 2. You know, it's a Fist of the North Star. Already explained it. But yeah, this one, very happy that I have this one in the collection. And apparently the second one, like, I never played the second one, but the second one is better than the first one, gameplay wise, but also I think there's just a little bit more variety in the gameplay. So yeah, can't wait to check this one out. Very happy that this one is on the shelf. Now this one, yeah, it's an odd one. Lollipop Chainsaw, it's a game that often pops up, and especially with the remaster or the remake. I think it's more like a remake, or is it more a remaster? I think the latter one. I enjoy this game. Like, it's very cool when I play this game. It just feels so much like a Dreamcast title. I can't describe why, but it just feels like it, like an arcade Dreamcast game. But yeah, it's Grasshopper. I kind of like the games that I have released on the consoles, and yeah, it's just a fun game, and it's over the top. I really enjoyed what I've played of it, and yeah, it's a cool game. It's a cool game. I like it. Now this one, yeah, it's Silent Hill Homecoming. I know often the reviews aren't that positive, but I really wanted to get like Silent Hill for the Xbox 360 because I like the survival horror games, and I do want to check this one out and form my own opinion about this game. And what I've played of it so far is rather good, but what I want to do is I have not finished it, but I do want to play the first Silent Hills before I actually check this one out. Don't ask me why, like I know that they're not story related, but I kind of want to. It's been a while since I've played a Silent Hill game, and I don't want to start with this one and then jump into the other ones. Or, yeah, it might actually be wise to start with this one. No, I want to play the first one. But yeah, Homecoming is not that expensive right now. Often I see it for around like 30 euros or so, but I was able to get it a little bit cheaper. And yeah, again, in the end, it's Silent Hill, so it's probably not better than Silent Hill 2, but still, it's the Silent Hill game, and most of the times it's still good. Like, it's good enough. Speaking of Silent Hill, of course, you also need Silent Hill Downpour for the Xbox 360. Already explained it. I really like Silent Hill. I like the horror games, and I also like the survival horror games. And what I'm mostly curious about with Downpour is that often when people talk about this is also the atmosphere, like how depressing it feels, and what they do with the sound design, and what I've played of it. I completely agree, and I just want to see more of this. Yeah, I just like these type of games. I like the horror games. Well, speaking of horror games, this one is a special one. It's Deadly Premonition. Oh man, I have not played this game, but I've seen the whole game. Like, I watched some videos of it. This might be an old memory, but I used to check out like Giant Bomb, like their playthrough. Maybe you do know like Giant Bomb, the game, the sub website about video games. And I just remember checking this one out when they were playing it and really enjoying it. And I do want to play it on my own at some point, but just have fond memories of this one, even without not having played it. And yeah, Deadly Premonition, it kind of reminds me about Twin Peaks, of course, and I'm a big fan of Twin Peaks. So yeah, someday I will check it out personally, but I already have like good memories of this game, and that's why it's on the shelf. Well, if you have seen my previous video, or I'm actually going to talk about this game in a next video, I lost track of time. And it's Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge. It's one of my recent additions and pickups. Maybe this is a spoiler. Just really happy that I've added this one to the collection. It's a French version though, and I will talk about that in a different video about, well, the issues with that, or if that's an issue. No, I will talk about it in the sense of like why I chose for or went for the French version instead of the English version. Spoilers, it's just a rather uncommon, rare title, and this was the one that I was able to find. But yeah, I like Ninja Gaiden. I like the character action games, and yeah, it's fantastic. I love Ninja Gaiden. Another game that I really like is Blue Dragon. It's such a fantastic looking game. I know that it might not be the most complex JRPG. I do think it's still rather complex, but just the visuals alone is just really stand out to me. And I remember when this was announced at an E3, like just seeing the trailer and the music, it's fantastic. It's a good one. Now, there's a team here, like this is JRPG, and the next couple games are more JRPGs for the Xbox 360. Like, I combine those together on the shelf. And well, if you talk about Blue Dragon, of course you have to talk about the Lost Odyssey. Also, such a fantastic game. When this one came out, I actually purchased a Asian version that actually had the Japanese language on it with English subtitles. Sadly, I don't own that copy anymore, and I do believe that copy is a little bit more expensive. So yeah, a couple months ago I picked this one up again, and yeah, it's such a cool title. I remember even playing the game, and there are certain parts in there where it's more like a graphic novel or just like text-based, like with the smaller stories, and just the combination of the story and the music, it fits well together. It feels very emotional, and yeah, I definitely can recommend this one if you are into JRPGs, and I believe it's backwards compatible. Another one is Infinite Undiscovery. I don't have that much experience with this one, but it's a game that I do want to check out at some point. But yeah, I felt like if for the Xbox 360, like if you want to collect for them for that console, and if you're into JRPGs, I think this one is a game that you should yeah, keep your eyes on and look out for. Another one, man, this is very JRPG heavy. The thing is though, like when I was growing up, I really enjoyed JRPGs. Like my love for those type of games really started with Final Fantasy VII, and then I went back to the Super Nintendo games, and even like here and there for the NES. But yeah, right now I think the last JRPG that I really played was Ni no Kuni, like for a ton of hours. It might also be Final Fantasy 12. I I hope someday I will find the time to actually delve into another JRPG because I really do enjoy them. But yeah, with that said, here's another one. It's The Last Remnant. I think the reviews are always rather positive about this one. And yeah, it's an interesting title. I like it. I just really wanted to display all the JRPGs on the shelf. Here's another one. This one is super interesting though, because it's a little bit different than the other ones. It's a Resonance of Fate, and what is so different about it and what stands out to me with this game is more the theme, but also the combat itself. It seems very flashy and not flashy, but you know, bombastic. Like there's a lot of super cool moves going on, and they use guns instead of swords. They use guns to fight, but it just seems like a very cool title. This is another Sega game. Spoilers, in one video I will talk about Sega and maybe making a list of Sega titles for the Xbox 360. Man, the next one. This one is a game that I've played a ton, like a lot. Not the 360 version though, but the PlayStation 3 version. But yeah, it's near. I remember when this game came out, or even when it was announced, the trailer just grabbed me again. The music alone with the visuals and the story it's trying to tell, it's just perfect. I really liked it, and I remember while playing it, yeah, it's maybe the opinions were rather mixed about Nier, but I remember just losing myself in this game, and I was really like trying to do all the side quests, getting all the weapons, and just trying to get the most out of this game, because I just didn't want it to end. I really liked it. It was just so good. The thing though is that I think with this one you do have to replay it a little bit more, replay it like over and over again to just same with the newer one, to get more of the story. I never did that. I think I finished it and then maybe started over again just to some extent. Someday I will try and do that, but there's also the remaster or the remake, the Replicant. That's still a game that I need to get for the PlayStation 4. Maybe someday, and I will experience the whole story that way. Another one, this might be the final JRPG. I'm not sure. It's Magna Carta 2. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Now this is a recent edition. It was, I think, the final JRPG that I had to get for the Xbox 360, because well, I'm not showing those, but I do have like all the Final Fantasy ones, and I might be missing a couple, but these are mostly like the ones that are mostly on the top of the list. Yeah, don't have any experience with this one. I still need to check it out. I got it like a couple months ago, and again, don't have the time. This one, ah man, I remember playing this on the PC back then. You know, it's this mix between like a first-person shooter, but also like the horror tone and aesthetics of it. It's Fear. It's just a overall like a very good game, and I can definitely recommend this one. I do own the second one and the third one, and also the one that has the DLC. I don't believe I've ever had a chance to check out the DLC, but yeah, it's apparently pretty good. And I played the second one and the third one as well. Third one might not be the best, but you know, it's still a decent-ish shooter. Now another one, this game pops up on many lists, and yeah, let's just show it. It's Fatal Inertia. It's not an English version though. I think it's an Italian one. My recommendation is you do see this one pop up on many lists. Like, okay, this one is the one to get. It's super expensive, especially the NTSC version. And I do believe the PAL version is getting up there as well in price. It's a fascinating title. It's some sort of Wipeout, F-Zero, but not quite. It's similar, but not quite. It's always difficult to say. It's in my opinion. I don't recommend picking it up right now for the price. It's just not worth it. It's a fun game if you are able to get it for 10 or 15 euros to check out, but definitely not 50 or 100. No, it's not. This one though, Project Sylphid, this one is fantastic. If you like sort of like the space shooters and more arcade feeling type of games, this one is worth checking out. It's very cool. And yeah, it's just a very cool visually looking game, and also it plays rather nice. A stack almost fell over. It's a huge stack. Now this one is an oddity because it's an NTSC version. When I purchased it, I didn't know it was an NTSC version, but luckily it's a region free one. It's Ridge Racer 6 for the 360. I believe this is one of the better ones of this generation. You do have 7 on the PlayStation 3 and also another one. You do have like Unbounded for the 360 as well. I don't own that one, but that plays it a little bit differently. But although the reviews are rather negative, I always like it when I see something about Unbounded, just because it seems more like an arcade racer. Anyway, this is Ridge Racer 6. Very happy that this one is part of the collection. I mostly played Ridge Racer on the PSP back then. Always enjoyed it. And yeah, that's why I picked this one up, so I can actually play it on the big screen. I do own a Ridge Racer on the PlayStation 1. Maybe the first one or the second one. I actually don't know. But yeah, I really like that. Man, this game, the next one, I like it. And I can't wait till the second one actually comes out later this year. And that is Space Marine. It is not an expensive title. I already know that I showed a couple of expensive Xbox 360 titles. But Space Marine 2 or 1, it's a very cool game. It's not that expensive right now, and I definitely recommend it. I played it on the PC when it was released. Also played a ton of multiplayer. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, it's one of those games that I really want to get into again before the second one actually comes out, because that one looks amazing as well. It's just super fun. It's not that complex, and that's completely fine, but it's just the overall tone. It's just super cool. It's super cool. Space Marine. Almost wanted to shout like an orc, but maybe let's not do that. Man, this one, Asura's Bread, it's a very cool title. Now I played this one on the PlayStation 3, but I also had to get the 360 version because I purchased the DLC on the 360 because that was just a little bit cheaper. Um, yeah, that was cheaper. It's always difficult to get like some DLC on the PlayStation 3, but because normally I don't have the console hooked up, so I purchased the DLC on the 360, so I had to get this one. And yeah, it's I never finished it because I actually wanted to experience the DLC as well. But this one is just it's fantastic. It's a very cool game, and again the story and the visuals, gameplay wise, it's um, it's more about the cutscenes, the visuals, and just the quick time events. And of course, there's some gameplay, but not that much. Like it feels rather odd in that sense. But yeah, still, it's a sight to behold. I think that's a fair thing to say. Yeah, I can recommend it. It's getting up there in price. And I do believe you kind of have to get the DLC to get the proper ending, which is a shame though, but you know, what can you do? This one, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Yeah, it is Revengeance. Revengeance. This one is super cool. I remember playing this on the PC, and it's just such a fantastic character action game in the Metal Gear universe, and yeah, it's just very cool. Yeah, I really liked it and enjoyed it. I have to be honest though, I stopped playing it at the end boss. Don't ask me why, but it was rather difficult, and I was like, okay, I will pick this up later again, but I never did. So I need to replay it again. I just have to. I have to replay it again. The thing that I just really like, I'm a big Metal Gear Solid fan, or even just a Metal Gear fan. But the thing is that I really like what they did with Raiden, and how it kind of completes his story, and how you can get a little bit more about what motivates him, and you know, how he evolved as a character. So yeah, that's just a very yeah, it's just a very nice addition to it, and completely understand if it isn't your thing, or if you're not a big fan of Raiden. But yeah, it's a cool game. It's definitely one that I recommend. Um, Something completely different in tone. It's beautiful, Katamari. Oh man, this is just such a blast. It's such a fun game, and I like the more serious games, but I also just like the more comical, like the colorful type of games. And this one is a game that I definitely recommend. It's exclusive for the Xbox 360. You know, on the PlayStation 3, you do have like some other Katamari games on, and yeah, this one is the 360 version. And yeah, if you like these sort of games, like really like the oddities, and you know, it's Katamari, it's a cool one. Now I don't have that much experience with Katamari. Also not on the PlayStation 2, never owned them. I played some of them like here and there, but yeah, don't have like a big experience. So my only experience is with this one. Do I own another Katamari? I don't think so, no. This is a game that I showed recently on, was it on a pickup video? Yeah, I guess so, because I was talking about the Transformer games. And I do think I own all the Transformer games. Like, I'm not showing those in here, but some of them are worth it to display on my shelf, and that's Transformers Devastation. Now, I have more experience with the PlayStation 4 version, but I am actually really glad that I have the 360 version as well. You know, if you are able to get the PS4 version, definitely get that one. I think the price is maybe around you know, the same range. But when I checked out this one, yes, maybe the resolution is a little bit less, but still the graphical style, it doesn't really matter that much if you play it on the 360 or the PlayStation 4. So in any way, if you are able to get this one for any console, I don't think you're missing out on too much if you are not able to get the PlayStation 4 version. I just like what they did, and it's a platinum game. It's a character action game, and so it's perfect. It's perfect. It's like a 7 or 8 type of game. And here's another Transformer game, is War for Cybertron. Now, this one is a game that I super recommend getting for the Xbox 360. This one is super good, and yes, the next one is also the next game that I'm going to show is also another Transformer game. This one is super nice. It plays so well. It's fantastic. It has a good story, and I think High Moon Studios definitely nailed it with getting or translating the Transformer universe to an actual game. And I think this is one of the best ones. Because another one, and this might be the best one, that's Fall of Cybertron. Now, I spoke about it in another video. This one, it's so good. Like, if you boot it up and even the intro, you will know what you're gonna get. It's the intro alone is super nice. It's so good, and yeah, I definitely recommend this one. It is getting a little bit more expensive, so I don't know. It's something that you have to, well, think about if you want to spend that much on a Transformer game. But yeah, I could honestly say it might be one of the best Xbox 360 games. I do think it belongs on the top 10. Now, here's another one. It's sealed. It's El Shaddai. Now, I played this game in the past, but I sold it. Did I play it on the PlayStation 3? I'm actually not sure. Now, this is a sealed copy, and yeah, someday I do want to play it a little bit more. I think there was a re-release, or the re-release still has to come out. I can't talk more or say more about that game. Just that the visuals just really stand out to me, and I'm very fascinated by it. This one, man, it's another Sega game. It's Binary Domain. This game is fantastic. I really like Binary Domain. I played it on a PC. I do believe I owned it or still own it on a PlayStation 3, and I really wanted to get the Xbox 360 version as well, because that's how much I like Binary Domain. I think the story is fantastic, and how it plays is also super cool. It's some sort of like third-person action game, but also squad-based to some extent. But just how it plays, it's not too complex, and you know, combined with the story, it's fantastic. And you know, again, it's another Sega game. Maybe I need to make that list. Maybe I need to make the Sega list. Speaking of action and third-person action games, this one is definitely one that I can recommend. It's 50 Cent, Blood on the Sand. I don't think I'm a big 50 Cent fan. It's music that I can appreciate, but don't listen too much. But yeah, it's just over the top. It's over the top action, and it's just super fun to play. It's also backwards compatible, so yeah. Now, this game is not an expensive one. I don't really see it go up in price as well, because I think there's just so many copies out there. And also, a remake was released recently, maybe 2 years ago. I don't remember. I'm talking about Dead Space, and I never knew that I was gonna say this about maybe an EA game, but Dead Space might be in my top 10 list of all games, like ever. I can't play this game enough. I like Dead Space a ton. I think they nailed it with the cosmic horror, just the sci-fi horror vibes, and just the way how this game plays. I love it. I like the remake. I like this one as well. I don't care which one I play, as long as I play Dead Space. Dead Space is just fantastic. It's I recommend adding this one to your collection if you don't own it. It's I almost want to say it's perfect. It's, yes, mwah, love it. Another game that I really love as well is Dead Space 2. Now, Dead Space 2 is a little bit more action heavy. It's not necessarily want to say faster paced, but it has more action in it. But that doesn't mean that it's less fun. It's still a super good game. It's very well done, and I think it's a very good sequel. Yeah, it's very good. I do believe I lean towards the first one a little bit more, but the thing is, whenever I play the first one, I want to play the second one as well, because it is so good. Now, I'm not going to talk about the third one. I enjoy the third one to some extent, but it's not one that I am eager to play again. The first and second one are just the best. Yeah, and this one is it's a super good collection. It's the orange box, and you know, the orange box. Let me just show the back first as well. There are just so many games in here. I actually have to read it up because it has Half-Life 2, it has Episode 1, it also has Episode 2, and it has Team Fortress 2. And that's probably not something that is worth checking out. But it also has Portal. I think I mentioned already Portal, but it also has Portal. So if you have this one and then Portal 2, you almost have like all the Valve software games. So it's almost like a sub collection with 2 games. And there's just so much content in here. And Half-Life 2 is such a fantastic game, and Portal 1 as well. Like, yeah, it's not maybe like a cheap game at the moment. I think you can get it between like 20 or 30 euros, but still you're getting such a good collection of video games that it's kind of mind-boggling. It's an amazing one. Now, this is completely different. Like, I've not shown any racing games, but I do want to show this one because it is on the shelf. It's Import Tuner Challenge. Now, I have not played that much of this one though, but I remember, I think it was on the Dreamcast that I played a similar type of game. Now, I can't remember the name that well, but it was also like in a similar vein, like a Tokyo Racer. But I really enjoyed playing a game like that. And it's not something that you see that often. Even, I do believe after this one, the Import Tuner, like they stopped making these type of games, or at least I don't know. But yeah, it's a super fun racer. Yeah, it's super fun. It plays well, and I really like it. Not necessarily like the biggest racing fan, but yeah, this one definitely stands out to me. Now, this one, I do own it on the PlayStation 3 as well, and this is maybe not the best copy ever. It is a little bit sun-faded, but we already spoke about it. But I'm a big Metal Gear Solid fan, so having the HD collection is something that yeah, I'm very happy about, because it has the second one, the third one, and Peace Walker as well. Now, I played the second one and the third one like many times. I tried playing Peace Walker over and over again, even on the PSP and the PlayStation 3 on the PlayStation 3. But some way, I always stop playing it, and I'm like, yeah, this is cool. I will pick it up tomorrow, and then completely forget about it. There's something about it that just doesn't grab me that much as just the regular Metal Gear Solid games. But yeah, this is just a nice way to actually be able to play it, because, you know, originally it was a PSP game, and yeah, this is just a super good collection. Yeah, I got it for a good price, but yeah, it's rather sun-faded. It's not like a big issue, but again, it's just such a good collection. It's a good collection for sure. Now, this is, we're nearing the end of, no, we're not necessarily nearing the end, but I'm skipping a couple games because those are From Software games. So I'm skipping a couple and nearing the end of like the games that are actually displayed on the right side of the shelf. So yeah, let's talk about this one. It's X-Men Origins Wolverine. This game definitely pops up on many lists of games that you should check out, and I do agree with that. Do check this one out. I played it a couple months ago, and yeah, it's a good game. Here and there, I don't want to say it feels janky. It just doesn't run it well because it's made on that Unreal Engine, and at the time, like, those games were not running that well. I guess that was Unreal Engine 3. But yeah, if you can look past that, that doesn't mean it always runs bad, but sometimes it just doesn't feel that nice, and especially with the character action game, you kind of want to have like a steady FPS. But even with that said, it's a very, very good Wolverine game. Highly recommend this one. It's such a cool game. Speaking of cool games, I am super happy that this one is part of the collection. The following games are quite difficult to obtain for a decent price. And I'm talking about Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. Now, this one is super cool. I really enjoyed playing the Spider-Man games, and overall, yeah, I think I'm a fan of Spider-Man, especially the games. Like, the movies are fine as well. I keep saying I'm not the biggest Marvel fan, but somehow the games, yeah, kind of pulled me in, and I do want to check out all the Marvel games. But yeah, this one is super nice, looks cool, and it's kind of fascinating, like how they deal with the multiple dimensions, or how, yeah, the multiple dimensions. It's called Shattered Dimensions. Another one, well, if you do have that Spider-Man game, you also need to get this one, Edge of Time. Now, there are a couple Spider-Man games. This one might, I was gonna say this might not be the best one, but that's compared it to the other 3 top-level Spider-Man games. Edge of Time, it's a very good Spider-Man game, but maybe, how would I say, maybe it's not as good as the Shattered Dimensions one. That's maybe the way to actually say it, but still, it's very good. Now, this one is Spider-Man Web of Shadows. This one is fantastic as well. So yeah, again, they are all very good, but I think the Shattered Dimensions is the best one, and then maybe the Web of Shadows, and then the Edge of Time. But again, they are all good. Sadly, the Web of Shadows is, I was able to get it for a good price, but it's just super expensive right now. And I do believe the NTC version one is even more expensive than the European, the PAL version. It's crazy, it's crazy. But yeah, in the end, it's Spider-Man. Maybe this one is not the best one of the Spider-Man games when you compare it to those 3. But I feel that if you have those 3, you kind of have to get this one as well. And that's the Friend or Foe. It's completely different. It's more like a beat 'em up, and you can play co-op. It's a little bit more accessible, more friendly for someone that never played like a beat 'em up game. But yeah, still, it's a fun Spider-Man game. But don't expect something like a Hollywood style type of movie story when you are playing this one. That's not, yeah, that is that. Now, yeah, I'm swapping one around. You can expect maybe what the next game is gonna be, but I'm gonna talk about this one first. It's Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. And yes, I will show the first one as well, but the first one is an oddity that I have in my collection, and it's probably the most expensive Xbox game that I own, weirdly enough. But yeah, this is another, I think you can call the Ultimate Alliance games like beat 'em ups. I remember really playing this game, and I do want to get back into it as well. Recently, a couple months ago, I purchased the Switch version as well again, and it's just always a blast. And these games are just super fun, mindless fun. So yeah, that's the second one. But this one, it is a fascinating story, like how I was able to obtain this one, because it is an NTC version of Marvel Ultimate Alliance, but it is the gold edition. And I don't live in the USA, and I just stumbled upon it in a museum, and it was just laying there for a decent price. And I was like, the gold edition is a special one, correct? So I picked it up, and yes, it is a rather expensive game. And what makes it so expensive is that it has like all the DLC on the disc as well. The disc actually says it's the gold edition. And it's complete in box. And last time that I checked, I couldn't actually believe the price for this one. Maybe around like 150 or so. It might have gone up even more. But yeah, this might be again the most expensive Xbox 360 title that I own. And I am gonna show maybe a few more expensive Xbox 360 titles, but this one is crazy. This one is crazy. It sometimes, especially in the Netherlands, you think you're not gonna find anything, and then suddenly you stumble upon a game like that, and so just one of those moments where you go like, is this real? Like, is this happening? I do have to say though, the disc is not in a good condition. It's very scratched, but it works, so that's good. Now the next stack, these are From Software titles for the Xbox 360, and I love collecting the From Software titles for the Xbox 360, but also the PlayStation 2, even the PlayStation 1, and to some extent also PlayStation 3, because I do want to own all the From Software titles at some point. I'm not in a rush, but I just really like them as a developer and a publisher. And to me, the From Software games are just super fascinating to see like how they started and where they are at right now with Elden Ring and the latest DLC. Is just a fantastic portfolio, and it's so cool to see like how they evolved as a studio and what they are making now and what they actually tried in the past. And that is why I really want to play all their games and just to experience them, even the bad games as well, because even in those games there's still something that you can find and see like, oh, they actually tried to do that later on in this way, or they iterated on this design. It's just fantastic. Now I don't know when I purchased this one, but I knew about this game, but I didn't know it was actually a From Software game, and it's Tenchu C. Now, I like the Tenchu games. I do own the first and the second one, and the two on the PlayStation 1, and I own the both of them on the PlayStation 2. So yeah, I played a ton of Tenchu in the past on the PlayStation 1. But yeah, Tenchu Z, it's a From Software game. Again, I need to check it out, but it's high on the list of games that I do want to play soonish. Just super curious like what they did with Tenchu. And it's a From Software game. Another From Software game is Nia Blade. Now, I like my character action games, and finding out that this was actually a From Software game, because I remember seeing the trailer when this game was announced. Then back then it was like, oh, this is From Software. It just seemed like, okay, this is just a like a Ninja Gaiden with some QTEs, and it tries to mimic Ninja Gaiden and such. So it was kind of easy to ignore this game, but I want to check it out again because I do. Yeah, again, it's just super fascinating. And Nia Blade, it's probably not like a 9-ish type of game, but probably like a 7 or 8 or so. Yeah, but it does seem like a cool title. Now, I have shown some JRPGs already, but some of them were missing because those were From Software games, and I'm talking about Enchanted Arms. Yeah, there's not much to say about this one, published by Ubisoft. But yeah, I remember seeing the trailer of this one as well, and just thinking about, okay, that looks cool, but maybe the gameplay is not that something that I would enjoy, but it's something that I do want to check out. Mainly because it's a From Software game, and again, I just kind of want to see and experience like what they try to do. Now, this game, this is maybe one of those games where people would say like, why is it on the shelf, besides like Bullet Witch? And I'm talking about Chromehounds. Now, the fans of Chromehounds know why it is on the shelf, but if you have not played Chromehounds, you might go like, oh, this is just a cheap title. And yeah, it is a cheap title, but this was just such a fascinating game to play online. It was super cool, and I remember spending quite some time on the multiplayer of this game, and there's just always this couple memories of some online matches that just stand out to me, and I will never forget. And it was just it's super fun to customize your own mech and then go out there and just to see if your design is actually working or not, and if you're able to defeat an opponent. Very strategic, and it was just such a fascinating game. Like, sadly, you're not able to play this one online anymore, but I do believe there are some ways on how to do that, but maybe it's probably too much of a hassle to actually do that right now. And to me, it's kind of like, maybe it should remain as a memory for me instead of like trying to play those again or play it again. And yes, in the same vein of mechs, of course, we have to talk about Armored Core Verdict Day. Now, there was a recent release on the PlayStation 4 and 5 and Xbox Series 6, the Armored Core 6. I still need to play that one as well. I played a little bit of Armored Core 2, but yeah, this is a From Software game. I kind of like these type of games, but I never had a chance to actually play them and experience them like completely. So someday I have to play them all, and there's a lot of Armored Core going on. So yeah, you do have Armored Core Verdict Day, and then you just have like the regular Armored Core. I am not sure if you say Armored Core V or 5. I guess it's just 5. I'm gonna go quickly through those because it's all Armored Core. There are so many Armored Core games on the 360. Then you have Armored Core for Answer. These games were also released on the PlayStation 3, but my understanding is that the 360 versions are definitely the best. Then we have Armored Core 4. Now I believe that, I actually don't know for sure. I think 4 might be better than 5. Who knows? If you know, let me know. But yeah, my plan is just to start with the first one. I think I own the first one. Yes, I own the first one on the PlayStation 1. I have to get the second one on the PlayStation 2. On the PlayStation 2, currently I have Armored Core Nexus and the Silent Line one, which is apparently pretty good, and that one is also not that expensive. But yeah, I believe these are all the From Software titles on the Xbox 360, except there are a couple more, but those are not on the shelf. But I do want to show them because you do have Dark Souls Prepare to Die edition on the 360. So that is a From Software title. Again, this one is not on the shelf, but I'm just showing it because it's a From Software title. And then you do have Dark Souls 2 Scholars of the First Sin, and you do have the regular Dark Souls 2. And there are some variants. Don't mind the sticker. I need to attempt and remove that sticker. There are some variants like the limited edition. And there's some collector boxes, but I'm not gonna go for all the variants. I just want to have the games that I am gonna play. And yeah, Dark Souls, I'm a big Souls fan. So yeah, sadly I don't have the art book in this one, but I do own the PlayStation 3 version of this one which has the art book. Finally, we're nearing the end of this video. This is a long one. But yeah, as mentioned in the beginning of the video, there are a couple games that I might want to remove and replace with some other games, some recent additions for the shelf. I think that I want to remove Bullet Witch from the shelf and replace that one. And what was the other one? Probably Fatal Inertia. And I'm trying to check the stack rather quickly. Well, at least those two games. Yeah, probably want to remove those two games. But I'm holding 3 games that I do want to add to the shelf. So I might have to find another game that I want to remove, or I need to make a very difficult decision which game I'm gonna add to the shelf. So I really want to add Splatterhouse to the shelf. So this is this one is gonna get displayed on there. So I think I will replace this one with Bullet Witch. Splatterhouse, just fantastic. Now I need to make a choice between these two. If I can find like a third game, but oh man. I think I'm gonna go for Deadpool, but Captain America is not available on the PlayStation 4. Does it make... It's a Sega title. Oof. I might actually put this one on the shelf instead of Deadpool. I don't know. Maybe you have an opinion about this one, but I have a feeling like I should actually get this one on there, and maybe I'm able to find like a third game to remove so that I can add Deadpool to it. Because at some point, maybe the proper Marvel games will actually get a spot on the shelf, because I already have like so many Marvel games on there. Oh man, that was a huge, that's a lot of video games. Yeah, I will try to keep you updated if I remove a game and add a new game to that list, but or to the shelf, but I don't think I'm gonna change that much to the shelf. We will see. Maybe at some point I will maybe add another shelf, but again, I just like having that, just solely that space for the 360 games. That doesn't mean that if the game is no longer on the shelf, it's no longer important to me, but the ones on the shelf are just super more important to me. Those make me more happy, and that's what it's all about. Oh man, and the From Software titles. I believe these are all the From Software titles. I need to check again, recheck again. I think I've checked that a couple times, and I'm sure that I own all of them. If I'm missing one, do let me know. And with that said, I hope this video was fun to watch. Maybe you got some ideas of games that you do want to add to your collection. Yeah, let me know in the comments. I'm planning on doing a similar video like this one for the Wii as well. That is a bigger collection, and that's actually a collection that's currently not on the shelf because I just simply don't have the space for it. But yeah, again, be sure to check out that video once it's up. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, thanks all for watching, and see you all later. Bye.